the man who speaks Italian, Spanish, and obviously English. Trails by 4 pins, is somewhat lost up in the left-hand lane, 5th frame.
Ball just not working the way it was, though, when he was warming up before we went on the air. It was so powerful, so controlled.
Very true, Chris. As you see it slide by, leaving the 2-pin, almost leaves the 2-10 split. And what has happened, low humidity in Las Vegas, the oil or conditioner on the lane is carrying down. Remember I said this is not a porous surface, but one thing does happen, the oil carries down. Players can't get the right break on the ball.
Sound like in our first game, which was won by a single pin, Gip Lentine 190 to Walter Ray Williams 189. We have another close match. 4 pins separating these two pros in our second game. The winner to meet Mark Williams, then Mark Roth.
Gip Lentine does a lot of practicing, Chris, and one of the things he's developed is he likes to practice a few frames every time he bowls, closing his eyes as he goes into his last step and trying to hit a target, say a mark or a dime out there on the lanes. And it's really a good loosening up method to
3, 6, 7, 10.
All right, the ball goes right through the middle of the pins, leaves the 3, 6, 7, and 10. What he needs to do is slide that 3-pin over into the 7-pin zone, hopefully not chop off the 6 and 10 pins. By the way, the lowest scoring match ever on Professional Bowler Score was a total of 296 for the two players, Dennis Jakes and Joe Staten, in 1983.
Come on. No chance for Monacelli. And that is his second open frame, so the open frames are even now. And the score is nearly that. Monacelli trailing by 5.
And as we project on the Professional Bowlers Tour, 20 pins per frame. If these players continue at 20 pins a frame, the final score would be 169 to 164.
That's about the winning score in Columbus, Ohio last year, I believe, as I remember.
That is true.
Ball just didn't come up.
Well, he tried to throw it harder to control it, and at least he has something he can make. 1, 2, 4, a spare that amateurs see quite often. The pros don't very often miss the head pin, but when the lanes get very slick, and as we said, what happens with these real smooth lane surfaces, sometimes the oil or conditioner carries down the lane. What I mean by that is the ball is rolling down the lane, it is picked up on the ball and carried down towards the back end. You can get no hook action.
All right, close match. More later. Running by, leaving the 2, and while we were away, we're running way behind our time frame because of all the number of spares. Lentine left to 10, covered it in the 7th frame for a spare. Now he'll try to shoot this one to stay close, keep his lead of 4.
Match play competition. Actually, the players are starting to have a little fun, even though it doesn't show on their face. This will be 15 consecutive frames that neither player has thrown a strike. They're definitely setting some records out here right now.
But what a lesson in spare shooting that you're getting today by watching the telecast from Las Vegas. Amleto Monacelli will shoot next in the 8th frame with a spare working. Maybe we'll break the string right here.
Remember, $2,000 difference between winner and loser in this match, and still a pop at winning $33,000 first. So these players are taking it very seriously, yet there has to be a little bit of lightheartedness going through their mind right now. Monacelli trails by 4, 8th frame.
All right. Strike number 1.
As Frank Esposito always said, when in trouble, throw the rocket to the pocket. And there he did. He just threw that ball between the 2nd and 3rd arrows and just sawed that 5-pin off. And maybe he has the solution to these lanes. I've never seen Amleto throw a shot like that, Chris.
Mark Roth, the tournament leader, whom you'll see 2 games from now, is watching. And speaking of rockets, he can throw them.
Let's see if he can make it count. He trails by 4 pins, 9th frame.
So we have the 1, 2, 4, 8 on the left lane. How do we shoot it, Bo?
Well, the ball just slides off his hand, Chris, and once again he leaves a fairly difficult spare, the 1, 2, 4, 8. You have to go across or down the center of the lane, drive the ball into the 1-2 zone. The 2-pin will take out the 8, ball deflect over into the 4.
This spare on that shot by Monacelli as Lentine gets up, shooting the 9th frame, a spare working, leading by 4. He won the first game, 190 to Walter Ray Williams, 189.
When a player, whether it's a league player, professional bowler, is really lost like Gip, he's bowled almost 2 games on his championship. There hasn't been close. You have to just look at the pocket and throw the ball, what we call rope it in there. He needs 2 strikes here to somewhat lock up this match because he knows his opponent can't do anything. Forget finessing at Gip. Just go right at the 1-3 pocket.
Finessed it and left the 2-10.
And he'll have to convert that to stay ahead in this match. Trying to finesse that ball, there's just no chance. Ball slides by, leaves the 2-10. Needs to get the ball on the left side of the 2-pin and drive it over into the 10 to maintain his lead.
All right. Third open frame.
Gip Lentine going at a 154 pace. Monacelli a 164 pace. Earlier I said that the all-time record combined score for 2 players in a championship round was a 1983 296. So one more open frame and these fellows would threaten the low game record book. But they're not worried about that right now. They're worrying about how am I going to get 2 strikes or even a spare to win this match. Lentine trails by 10 pins, 10th frame.
A 10.
Spare and a good count. He will at least force Monacelli to mark in the 10th, and as we've seen so far, a mark is no easy task today. Gip saying, hope anything. He's going to bowl a whole game without a strike, and he still could win the match.
All right, and for that should happen, proves the adage, never give up. Meanwhile, Mark Williams of Beaumont, Texas, who will meet the winner, keeps warming up off to our right.
Right now, Gip Lentine with a strike would be 154. Monacelli would be forced to mark in the 10th to go on to meet Mark Williams in the semifinals. The match is still up for grabs. All right, 153. He can still win the match.
But there is a great deal of excitement despite the high score, Bo. Fans here now, the murmur comes up as they talk to each other to explain to those that don't understand what could happen. So there is excitement.
Monacelli needs a mark to win. One of the most interesting matches I've seen in a long time. Match play competition. $2,000 at stake and a chance at $33,000 on this ball.
All but the 7.
For Amleto Monacelli, if he converts this spare, he would be in a over 153, and that's the score needed to win. He needs this spare and 1 pin to win the match. Unbelievable that a player would have 1 strike, possibly bowl in the 160s, and advance to the semifinal rounds. It's going to be an interesting day. I think this is really funny. Not funny, I would say, just interesting. They're struggling. Can he make it for a win?
All right. Now the task at hand, perhaps, well, without a doubt, the easiest task of this particular game. Needs 1 pin.
It's been a little bit bizarre so far. There's a win.
And he gets his second strike, a 163 to 153. Time for our tip of the week, all about the importance of shoes.